Hi, welcome to Raj Alnai. Today in this video, we are going to discuss about GitHub. As we all know, cloud repositories, managing cloud applications, especially in the field of application development, nowadays are becoming mandatory. This is not something specified for the cloud applications, even in regular applications and all, using multiple tools like GitHub, GitLab, right? So GIT related tools and applications are becoming highly important. Hence, today I'm going to explain you about how generally in GitHub is all about and how to create a repository and all everything in GitHub, followed by the kind of issues, what is to be created, how to create issues, all that in today's session. Now, whenever we are working on GitHub, you can see this is what generally the dashboard was. So this is how generally a dashboard looks like. So there are two things. One is either we can create a repository or else we can import repository from different sources. So if you want to import a repository from different sources and all, here we have an option where we need to update the repository URL, all that here. From where are we going to import the data, import the project related information? That information we have to give here. Normally, these are all something supported with VCS and all everything, and we can create repository name and we can give. And we have to select either this can be viewable by the public or this can be confined only for the private people and all everything is what we have to select. So this is in reference to the project. What is that you are accessing from outside, from other repositories, using URL link, all that. And second option is to create a repository. So if you want to create a repository here, we can create a repository here, wherein I'm giving a repository name, right? So Raj Alnai is what the repository name I have given here. So that I can easily, because I have given my brand name in this, right? So this description is something optional. If you want to write any kind of description of that sort, we can have a option where we can write down the description of it. But normally this is something which is optional. This is not something mandatory for the work. What is that we are doing? Next, we need to have two things. Either is this can be seen by the public, like whoever is working on GitHub and all, if they are allowed by us to see the repository and all everything, as in when we have to click on this public part, or else if it's a private information or private project, what is that we are using, this is majorly used for the particular audience and all everything. So we have to select the private part. Private means private is the information we have to select. Private means it is only for the people who can see, who are already in the project and all, those people only see this repository, not by the public people, right? So this is one, right? So either public or else private. This is what we have to select. Private is what generally an option I have selected here. Next, initializing property with README files means if there is any kind of README files and all everything, if you want to initialize the repository with any README files and all everything, we can add it so that we can learn and we can see more about the projection of the what exactly the project was, right? So the long description of the project we can we can write down there. So that's the reason why I am selecting add a read me file. Next, git ignore. So this is majorly which are not track from a list of templates and all that. Further, generally this git ignore is being used. Next, this is where generally licenses, right? So licenses is what it was. So whatever the licenses and all everything is what it was. Now here you can see there is an option called creating repository. You can see over here, this is what generally the repository which we have created under GitHub, right? So this is what generally the repository we have created. Now in this repository, when there is an initial commit, what is that we have to update, or if you want to browse any kind of fields and all everything, this browse of fields can be updated over there. At the same time, we have an option called code. You can see over here, for example, whatever the lines of code which was written by the team members, right? For example, if you want to see, or if you have any kind of code existing with you all the time, right? So wherein we have to create a code space where we have to update the code spaces, all that, or else we can select local sites where we have to open this through desktop or downloading zip option and all everything is what we have to do it here. Or else, as far as the core itself is concerned, we can add a file over here wherein we have to create a new file. You can see create a new file over there. So here we need to update the file name, right? So file name and all. For example, let me take, I have taken a file name called ATM system. Okay, this is what generally an ATM system is what generally the file name, right? So here we need to mention about the contents of the file, right? For example, deposit the cash withdrawal, check the mini statement, ATM pin change. ATM pin change, right? So this is what generally the data which was mentioned over here. Now we can see these are all the preview informations which we can see. And if you want to commit the changes and all, here we can have an option where commit the changes. And commit message is creating an ATM system, where if you want to write any kind of extended description relating to ATM system, we can write down here. ATM system is the one which is used by the customers to do the transactions without going to the home branch, right? So this is what I have just written as an extended description, right? If you want to create a new file, or else you can write down as commit changes, right? So this is what generally an initial comment which we have written over here, wherein if you want to have a written comment, all that, so this we can see over, or else in reference to the application whatever we have created, you can see this is where generally the creating of an ATM system, wherein you can see the description was written, followed by this whatever the information which is relating to the ATM system and all that information, everything was updated. For example, depositing the cash, right? For example, for this we want to write something, okay, depositing cash. So for that, what is required? insert ATM pin, ATM card, give pin number, select cash deposit, option in the main menu, insert cash, denomination will be counted, cash deposit successful. Okay, for example, right, so this is what generally the one which we have written here, right? So we have written here, so add it as a single comment, right? So this is what generally we have written in reference to the cash deposit, right? So that's what I have written. So for this, if there is any kind of replies will be given by the people who are is in the community, all that, right? So anyone whoever is in the community, all that. So those people can give the reply here, right? So if there is any kind of comments or related information which they wants to know or which they wants to have an idea over that, so people can see this, right? So they can see this, and if they have any reviews and all everything, they can update here. At the same time, this we can do even for cash withdrawal or checking mini statement, ATM pin, right? So everywhere the same option, all that. This is what generally the one which in reference to the creation part of an ATM system. Now, if you want to split this, where you can split like this, right? So you can deposit cash as separate, where we have a screen which is to be presented here and all everything will be as separate. This is how generally the presentation which we want to make. So when we are working on the GitHub, especially to create projects, right? So all these things and all, right? So this is how generally the uh, requirements and all everything we can write. At the same time, we have an option where if you want to browse any files to the existing application, we can update all that. At the same time, if you want to create any kind of new releases, we have to update the new releases here. Followed by this, here we need to update the issues, right? So if there is any kind of issues which are related, whatever the issues do we have and all everything, we have to create a new issue. So create it right here, we have to create an issue, right? Issue nothing but a requirement, I can say, right? So issue is a requirement which I am creating. For example, cash withdrawal, right? Withdrawal of cash, right? So this is what generally uh, the issue which I have taken. Here we need to write down the comment. Withdrawing cash from the ATM system, right? And we can click on submit new issue. So automatically new issue has been submitted. Like this, if you want to create any more issues and all everything, so those issues can be updated here. So this is what and how generally this GitHub and all everything are being used here. At the same time, if you want to see any kind of projects or something like, we can, if you want, we can link out the projects. We can link the projects here and we can see, or else if you want to create a new projects and all everything, so that we can do, right? So that is anyway, that is additional thing. This is what and how usually this GitHub is being used. So this is all for this video. If you have any questions in regard to that. please reach out to the contact details, which will be posted in below to this video. Thank you.